Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mistakes Were Made. We are here today and we are going to do our budget with me for the second pay period of October. So this information is going to cover the 16th through the 31st. Now, I didn't notice this when Mr. M very kindly had these printed off for me, but it looks like the paper actually has a bluish tint to it. So hopefully that doesn't create any issues on the video side of things. But we're getting low on the other items and the other forms. And so I created a new one, made some adjustments, which took all of the credit cards off except for Discover because I was anticipating we were going to hit that mark, and we actually ended up adding some more items to our longer term goal list. So things are a little bit different, but overall it stayed the same. All right, so let's write down here October 16th through 31st. And now we'll zoom on in because we are way too far away to see anything. All right, so due to the timing in which we are doing this budget with me, we do have, once again, a decent amount of information that we normally wouldn't if we were doing the budget with me as early as we normally do. So Mr. M's pay for this pay period is $1,939.14. My pay is $2,534.15. So this does include incentive pay. The second pay period, now this is information for anybody who might be new. By the way, hello, and hello to you who are returning. I am eligible for incentive based on performance every month, and the paycheck that gets that incentive amount on it is the first paycheck of the month, which for me is the 15th. But because of how that falls and how we do our budget by paycheck, that paycheck doesn't cover the first half of the month. It actually covers the second half of the month. So any incentive monies, we don't see the benefit of it until the second part of the month. All right, miscellaneous income, we are not expecting any of that. Etsy, we obviously have no idea if we're going to have any sales, so we do not fill that in. The buffer rollover amount from the first pay period is $200.28. So let's do some math here. Let me make it so that it can actually see. We have 1939.14 plus 2534.15 plus the 228 cents. So 40. This is getting a little wonky. $4,673.57 is the income amount we are working with for this pay period. Now then, we are in the second pay period. Oops, I shouldn't have done it quite that high. We do still have a mortgage payment that comes out, so we'll just ignore that little oopsie right up there. But everything else in the lower portion is what we're actually focusing on. So $875 is for the mortgage, and then for PGE, we already know the amount for that is $140.03. The gas bill is $22.95. And we're going to have to keep an eye on both of those now, because as we're in October and heading into the November, December, January, February, our colder months, there's a great chance that these are going to start to rise fairly rapidly, depending on how much energy we're using and things like that. We do typically try to not use our furnace very much. We're using blankets and socks and sweaters and things like that. to try and keep our costs low, but that only tends to go so far. We are not expecting anything for the garbage bill. It is an every other month cost, so that we will probably see next month. Comcast, the expectation is $101, and for our cell phones, it is $90. It'll probably be a few cents less than that, but that's what we typically use as our guesstimate. So $875 plus 140.03. Oopsie, nope, 140.03. There we go. That's better. 22.95 plus 101 plus 90. So our total monthly cost here for expenses is $1,228.98. So if we subtract that from our income, $4673.57, that gives us a remainder of $3,444.59. All right, so the second pay period is when we do fund our emergency fund. It's just $25 right now, but it's better than zero. We'll figure out any extra savings later. And of course, our buffer is going to be the minimum 200 for right now. So we will take this and we'll add 225, which brings our total, excuse me. Oops. I forgot to put the 225 here. Brings our total to $3,219.59. Now our cash envelopes, again, if you are new to the channel, these are all of the cash envelopes that we stuff over the course of a month. Some of them we stuff just in the first half of the pay period, some during the second, and there are a few that we do refund each pay period. So we'll start here with AAA, which gets $13. Birthdays get $12. And that reminds me, one of my nephew's birthday is coming up next month, and I still have no idea what it is he wants or needs. So I'm going to have to talk to his mama. We do not do car maintenance. You know what? I feel like we should be doing Christmas, though. I'm going to have to pause and check something real quick. Okay, I am back. I have a little cheat sheet here on the side there that you can't see, and I apparently missed adding Christmas, which gets $12, so it wasn't as entirely helpful as it could have been. Clothing gets $5. We don't do dining out, we don't do entertainment, we don't do garden yard. Gas gets $100. Gifts gets $5. We don't do giving during this pay period. Groceries gets $200. Health gets $10. No household this pay period. License gets $11. Pets gets $160. Prime gets $12. And taxes gets $20. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and add all of this up. So 13 plus 12 plus 12 plus 5 plus 100 plus 5 plus 200 plus 10 plus 11 plus 160 plus 12 plus 20. It's a grand total of $560. And we will subtract the last income number we had, so $3219.59, which brings us down to, oh, can you see that? Nope. $2,659.59 for our remaining income. Excuse me. Okay, now we're over here on debt. This is such a beautiful thing to see, to just have the one line item. Oh my goodness. All right, so because we only have the one debt that we have as our focus at this time, that whole, and I've mentioned this already, so it's a little bit broken record, but for those of you who are new, we do budget $1,225 every month to go towards debt. That's just a standard line item that covers minimum payments plus a little bit extra, when we were very first getting this started. And then slowly, as we've paid off debts, we have snowballed the amount that was allocated to those paid off credit cards to go on to the next credit card that we were focusing on. And now that we only have the Discover left, that full $1,225 goes to Discover. But I want to say it was 1 or 2 credit cards ago, we did bump that amount to actually $1,226 because we had gotten to an amount where it was large enough that we wanted to split the payment between the 2 pay periods. And at the time, the payment amount was not even, so we would have been doing something in 50 cents, and I didn't want to do that. So we changed it to $1,226. So that is why we will be paying $613 to the Discover card for this pay period. We'll figure out any extra in just a little bit. So 613, and we're back here with our income here. 613 from that means we have $2,046.59 left. We're still going to allocate $30 for my spending. I have been kind of doing maybe I'll try to do no spend stuff, but not anything official because I don't want the pressure of not spending. So we'll see how that goes this month. The last few, or how it goes this pay period, the last few pay periods, it's gone by the wayside, and I've spent the money that I have, which, that's what it's there for. But we take that 30 out. We are now at $2,016.59. And as I mentioned, our longer term goals have increased, not necessarily because we've added a bunch of stuff that wasn't there before, but we added a bunch of stuff that is on our spreadsheets but just didn't fit on previous sheets. So because we are doing a break from yard cleanup, we do actually have a line item for the line item. What on earth? Line item. Obviously, I saw the cider thing there. 4 apples for sauce and cider. So we are going to put it on that line, the $100 for that. Okay, so let's go down here. $100. And that leaves us with $1,916.59. You can just check our numbers. Yep, ta-da. So before we go on to the next step, I just thought I might take a quick run through, some of the stuff that we have on here. Some of these things are probably never going to happen. For example, front porch extension. Well, I don't know. House extension, that one, I don't know. That one, that I find it hard to believe that we'll get to a point where we can do that. A lot of things that we have kind of need other things to be done first. So for example, we definitely are going to need to do a full tear-off roof replacement and sometime in the next 5 years. But we would really like to extend our front porch out, and at the same time our back patio, the roof cover is like atrocious, and just the way it's set up is weird, so we would need a fix for that. I don't know if I actually put it on. No, I did. Solar panels. If we want to get solar panels, obviously we want to get the roof replaced before we do solar panels. And if we're going to replace a roof and we want to do a house extension, there's just so many things that are like interconnected. And it's almost overwhelming to think, oh my gosh, how much money are we going to have to save up so that we can go in a order that makes sense to get things done. And so, it kind of feels like it'll never actually happen because of that. So, but we have learned we need to take one step at a time. And that's what we'll do. And right now we need to worry about our debt situation. So we are here with $1,916.59. We are going to do our standard triage of money going to debt as well as savings. So a dual goal with a slight change now. Instead of 75% going to debt, we are doing 90% to debt, and so that means 10% is going to savings instead of 25%. So we'll take our 1916.59 and we'll subtract 90%, which means we can expect $191 to go to savings. So we'll go back over here and fill that in. $191, and we had 59 cents here at the end, so that'll go for our buffer rollover. So that leaves us with 1916 flat minus the 191, 1725. This is the second time that we have landed on an amount that if we were still doing my secondary triage and doing the 00, 25, 50, or $75, that the number would have matched up with that process. But again, we only have the single debt right now, so the 1725 will go towards Discover in Full. So we put 1725 here, and I am not going to put it next to the Discover card line because there is only that one there. So if we can stay on budget for this particular pay period, another $1,725 plus the $613 would be amazing for us to be putting on the Discover card. I want to say that would firmly put us below $5,000. If we're able to make it work. Of course, if we are able to get in some additional income from Etsy, that would be fantastic. I don't really think there's going to be any other opportunities for us to have additional income unless it comes from me not spending my total allocated amount, or maybe having some kind of miscellaneous income event that we're not expecting to happen come through. But I am not complaining by any means whatsoever, because this will be amazing if we are able to see this situation come into fruition. All right, well, thank you very much. This was our budget with me for the next pay period, 16th through the 31st. If you have any feedback, questions, suggestions, anything like that, please note those down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the comments. They have always been so encouraging, and we really, really appreciate the motivation that you all have provided us. And I guess all that's left is to see you in the next one.